Welcome to today's episode of The Saturday Show. I'm your host, Cody Goggin, and I'm super excited to talk to you about our topics today. We're starting with a movie that created an immortal character. We're starting with ROBOCOP. ROBOCOP was directed by Paul Verhoeven, and the story was developed by a team of writers who had worked on Blade Runner. Inspired by comic books and Star Wars, they developed a world set in the future where a robot struggles with some form of human identity. The tone of the film would be inspired by Dirty Harry and Mad Max, while the world would draw from things like Judge Dredd and Blade Runner. The movie would feature incredible amounts of exaggerated violence as a bit of social commentary. Arnold Schwarzenegger, Tom Berenger, and others were all considered for the part of Alex Murphy, who becomes ROBOCOP. But the part was eventually awarded to Peter Weller. His killer would be played by Kurtwood Smith, who you may recognize from his part as Red on That 70s Show. The costume for ROBOCOP took 6 months to design and build, and when it was finished, Peter Weller struggled to move and often found himself sweating so badly that he would lose weight while in the suit. The movie also features stop-motion special effects as well as incredible makeup effects, and finally finished at a budget of just over $13 million. The film was not an enormous success when it was released in 1987, but it drew enough money commercially to spawn the making of several sequels at a lower budget. As time went on, the movie grew, as did the franchise. Cartoons, video games, comic books, television series, and a modern-day reboot all carried the character of ROBOCOP into pop culture legend. ROBOCOP explores themes of corporate power, life and death, humanity, authority, and science in a way that is self-aware and wise. It's also a fun popcorn movie, if you wish. I highly recommend it. Our special feature this week is one of the most legendary video games of all time, and one of the most fun. We're talking about Pac-Man. Pac-Man was developed by Namco Games for the arcades. It was designed to hopefully appeal to women gamers, since people at Namco believed that most games were too focused on sports and war to appeal to females. The shape of the classic Pac-Man character was influenced by the image of a pizza missing one slice, and he was originally called Puck-Man. But when Midway Games helped bring Pac-Man to America, they were afraid that vandals would change the P in Puck-Man to the letter F, and so he was renamed Pac-Man. Each of the ghosts in the game have their own artificial intelligence, and their patterns can be learned. But with every level, they become faster, and the game becomes more difficult, until finally it becomes broken at level 256, due to an integer overflow. It was immediately popular as an arcade game, but a version of it later released for the Atari home system was poorly received and badly designed. In time came Miss Pac-Man and many other new versions of the game. Pac-Man also featured in 3D games and various cartoons over the years. Recently, the original playstyle has found itself revamped and repopularized in games such as Pac-Man Championship Edition and Pac-Man 256, which plays off of the original ending glitch screen. If you haven't experienced the original, you're missing out on a genre-defining experience that changed video games as a medium forever. I hope you're enjoying this episode of The Saturday Show, and if you are, please hit like, subscribe, tap that notification bell, and we appreciate it very much. Thank you. This week for Album of the Week, we are looking at the second studio release from Jerry Lee Lewis on Sun Records. This is Jerry Lee's Greatest. Jerry Lee Lewis was a rock and roll wild man among a class of other wild men. His exciting style and uncontrollable behavior had been well publicized, and it was due to this that some people suspect Sun Records owner Sam Phillips may have lost interest in promoting Jerry Lee, at least as heavily as he did other stars such as Johnny Cash and Elvis Presley. When Jerry Lee married his underage cousin overseas, and it became a public scandal, it also changed the perception that Sam might have had. Due to this, many of the singles that Jerry recorded with Sun were not released as full records, and this second LP was not released until 1961. It includes his most famous song, Great Balls of Fire, which was strangely absent from his first outing, as well as songs like Money, which was also recorded by the Beatles just a few years later. Cold, Cold Heart by Hank Williams, as well as the standard Frankie and Johnny, also feature on this album. Jerry Lee's greatest might not literally be his greatest, but it is a fine collection of early Sun recordings, and it showcases Jerry Lee wailing away at his piano and producing some of the best early rock and roll music you can find anywhere. Give it a listen and let us know what you think in the comments below. Another bar full of wannabe stars. Then I watch you walk right through the door. Tommy makes movies, Andy's a loony, but I think that you're something more. Time will tell where it is that we're driving to. Time will tell that we're going to. I've been down before. Come on now, we must do what we can. You've been down before. Everybody gets a second chance. Everyone has a burden to bear. Everybody's got the mask that they wear. I'm not worried that you're further than me. I keep moving just so I can